Welcome to She Talks, He Nods. We're your hosts. I'm Maegan.
I'm Kris.
And welcome to our podcast. If you're new here, we talk about our marriage and our kids and our parenting and just our life and our thoughts on things in life. And if you're returning, thanks for listening again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you're also returning and you've kind of been listening for a while, we would love if you would take the time really quick, since you're just getting started, just pause really quick, go down there and give us a rating if you're enjoying the show. And we'd love to hear from you and see what you think.
And if you're new here, wait till the end. And if you like the episode, maybe you write a kind review.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. So it's summer and we love summer because we live where?
In the frozen tundra
of North Dakota. Yeah. So whenever it's summer here, it is just outside as much as we possibly can be outside. Because in the winter, we hibernate quite a bit. I mean, we leave the house, but...
No. We're like bears.
I definitely do stay inside a lot more in the winter. So I love just being able to wake up and just go outside and be outside all day. And with that, we have kids and they have activities they want to do and things they want to do. And this summer, we limited our two girls that live at home full time with us. We limited them to one activity each this summer. Jovi picked theater, which honestly takes up quite a bit of time. That's 6 hours total a week. Yeah, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then Gemma decided to continue with gymnastics. Now Margot's doing a couple extra things because, like I said, she's only here every other weekend and some extra through the weekdays. But we just wanted a summer that we could not be running everywhere or have somewhere to be every day.
Yeah,
right?
Most of our previous summers, we just pack them full of activities because it's like, well, it's not winter, so we better get outside and we better make the most of this nice weather while we have it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just been so stressful of just really loading ourselves. And we never fight more as a family than when we're trying to get somewhere on time.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us a while, but we realized let's just have less things to make it to on time. You can still have an activity packed summer and not have a deadline to get places. So that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Limit our deadline activities to the one per kid. And then the rest is, we're still doing plenty of activities, but it's at our leisure. So we're not having to have come on, we got to leave in 5 minutes. Come on, we're 5 minutes late. Let's go. We don't have to have that fight 3 times a day, every day, which has really helped.
Yeah, well, and two, it takes away when you have too many activities, like scheduled activities, right? When you have too many of those, it just takes away from your just chill time. Like summer, I just love to chill. And it's nice to just wake up and just slow morning. I mean, now, granted, we do slow mornings year round in our house because we homeschool, and that is a huge priority of mine. I just need that slow morning. So we have slow mornings all the time, but just a slow summer has been really nice. Now, like you said, we're plenty busy. We do all of the things. And I feel like, if you have to wake up and you have 3 activities in the day, where do you fit in a full lake day where you just go and spend the whole day out there? Where do you fit in that bike ride because you're already tired after your activities? So it's nice just to have that downtime. It's been really good. And again, our kids are 5 and 7. So they don't have a whole bunch of things that they're super I want to do this and this and this. Of course they want to try all the things and they will get to try all the things. We're not holding them back by any means, but it was kind of a nice reset to just not have a million things this summer.
Yeah.
And then in the school year, we get a little bit busier. They have more activities, but we still do make sure to maintain it where we're not constantly running because we really do appreciate and enjoy our family time and our downtime. And whenever you're from activity to activity, it's just where's the time for that?
Yeah.
When do you get to just sit down for dinner and enjoy each other? So that is a big priority in our house.
Yeah.
And I know as they get older, they're going to have more activities too. While they're kids and they're young and they want to play, I want them to have plenty of time to just play and just be bored and do nothing and let their creative sparks fly.
Yeah, boredom is such a good catalyst for being creative. When they just have nothing to do, usually they'll find themselves in some crazy imaginative play, whether it be outside or with their toys or whatever. And it's just good. It's good to see that Like that is them chilling, you know.
Yeah.
We're not telling them to go somewhere. We're not loading them up, unloading them, loading them, unloading them.
We're kind of having like a 90s summer. Like they are right now, they're writing their own songs and they don't truly know how to play an instrument yet, but they're playing the instruments and they're writing songs and lyrics, and they plan on doing a neighborhood concert this summer. So like that's what they've been doing in their free time. And we've been reading a lot more this summer too. So that's been great. Jovi was just out there reading a book on the swing set earlier. So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has been just a relaxed summer and it's been so nice.
Mm-hmm.
And busy still. Like I said, we're doing plenty, but it's at our leisure. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what makes, I think, a big difference.
Yeah. I'm fortunate to not be working 6 days a week.
Yeah, that's really nice. You've been around a lot more this summer.
I have been, yeah, which is a catch-22 because it's like I want to work because I want to make more money, and I can really make a lot more money on those extra 2 days a week as opposed to my 4 standard days. But there's a give and a take, and it's just not the season for work right now during this summer. So take the most of the opportunity and do the family thing.
Yeah. We just realized that Kris hasn't taken his vacation yet this year. Usually we take that in the winter, but we didn't this past winter because it was kind of a weird with his vasectomy reversal. And we got to talk about that.
We got that in October of last year. So that was my winter vacation.
Yeah. So we technically didn't take a family vacation. We turned it into a family vacation, but it wasn't vacation, like normal vacation.
I got pushed around a zoo in a wheelchair.
Yes, he did, which we'll have to actually, maybe next episode, we'll talk about the vasectomy and the reversal and all that stuff. So tune in next week for that. But anyway.
We'll show you pictures. No, we won't.
So we just realized we haven't had that vacation, and I have really been wanting to go to Wyoming. So me and the girls, we're taking a road trip down to Omaha to meet my mom. We're going to do the zoo and everything. And then I'm hoping next month to do kind of a long road trip down to Casper, Wyoming, then up to Yellowstone, and then maybe back through Montana and take like a week or two and do that. So with less activities, that is also possible. So that's really nice. I think that'll be really fun.
It will be fun. I just hope I can get the days off.
Yeah. Well, if you can't, then we'll just push it back. We can do it whenever. So.
I thought you were going to say, oh, that's all right. If you can't, we'll just go without you.
No. Well, we do travel a lot without you because
I just only get so much time off, and you can. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. And that's what's so nice. Like, we'll talk a little bit about homeschooling. One thing we love about homeschooling is we almost always take our vacation in like January or December or February, something like that, when it's cold here and like, let's go somewhere warm, and we just take school with us, or we just set it up where we don't do school that week. It just depends on where we're at and how it's been flowing. We've done both. That is one thing I love about homeschooling too, is the flexibility to just travel, the flexibility to have those slow mornings and that extra family time together. And then kind of lead into one thing we're going to talk about today. Also, it gives me the opportunity to teach each child on their skill level rather than just like, okay, you're in kindergarten, you're going to learn this now. You're in second grade, this is what you're going to learn. Gemma, all last year as a 4-year-old, she did kindergarten math all year. And not because I was like, you got to get ahead because we're homeschooling, but no, she just was asking. She's like, I want to do more. I want to do more. This is too easy. So we just started doing kindergarten math because she really wanted to, and she did great. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so great is I can give her something harder or easier based on what she needs versus like, this is what you learned this year at this age. Mm-hmm. What do you think about how things are divided by age in regards to school?
I don't know. I guess it just is the system that it is. And there's just so many kids in public school. But I feel like maybe you can tailor the education a little bit better if you go based on ability and not just age, maybe. Mm-hmm. So that way, like there's the No Child Left Behind program, and then there's like gifted programs, and then there's like the majority of everyone in just the normal classes or whatever.
But how do gifted programs even work today? From what I understand, like it's kind of hard to even get into that.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But all I was saying was, instead of having the Left Behind program where the kids that have to go to whatever the program may be called to get them extra help or whatever to try to stay on par with where the rest of the kids are at. And then I don't even know if there's like gifted programs for younger kids like that, or if the kids that are just advanced comparatively to the other kids in their class
are just bored.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's how it works. I could be talking out of my butt, but.
Well, we kind of know a little bit. Margot's not homeschooled. She's in public school, mm-hmm. and she's always kind of been on that higher end of her test scores. And always has told us, especially within math, that she's bored. And from what we have gathered, what she has told us is all that she's done extra when she was bored or finished early was busy work in the same thing, not more advanced, or Khan Academy, which is a free program that you can get on any iPad or anything. She did Khan Academy like one school level up, which is just computer games. Like she's not really truly learning anything more advanced at this age.
There's really no more different, like novel stimulus of something completely different than what she was learning.
I'm hoping that'll change in middle school though.
Right.
I know like you can get placed in the advanced, so we're hoping that she'll be a little more challenged in math at least.
Hopefully they have something like that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like everything being age based, I feel like it may be you may be able to dial it in a little better if it was all just like ability based. But I would hate to say like you have to test in to whatever level that you're at. I don't know, because maybe a 10-year-old wouldn't want to test in and be with a bunch of 6-year-olds. But if you're 10 and you're learning at the 6-year-old level, isn't that kind of where you belong? But but is there like a big stigma of, oh, well, this kid's 10 and these kids are 6 and maybe they can't play on the playground the same way because the big 10-year-old's going to just rule, or maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's definitely like how it is because it's easy, it's simple, it's by a birth date, and that is what it is. Now, you can still fail or get, you can still get held back. I'm not sure. Is that like teacher says no, they have to stay back a grade, or is it like
results based,
or is it like if the parent agrees? Because there has to be kids that are being pushed through to the next grade that aren't ready, right? But, there are also kids who get held back. You don't see that as much.
Maybe they lean more towards the additional schooling as opposed to resetting the grade. Like, this kid's a little behind, but 2 months in the summer and we maybe can get him where he needs to be for the next grade. I wonder if they lean towards that instead of resetting them a full year and sending them back to the grade that they just failed, which must suck.
But my thing is, even with that, like not on that end of the spectrum, I'm more of like the kids who are super bored, super unchallenged. Why can't we push them up? I think they should be able to test into the grade level ahead. And maybe they do. Again, since I have homeschooled since preschool, I actually don't know too much about the school system in that regard, but I know that Margot was definitely bored in a lot of ways and wanted more work. And she's been saying that since kindergarten. So I'm hoping that she'll get that now she's going into middle school. But nonetheless, like it's definitely not as common as I think it should be, right? Like I think that when you get those test scores back, if there's someone on that far big end, why aren't we like saying, should we have that conversation with the parents? Would they benefit from moving on up?
Maybe it just comes down to like they just don't have the people to facilitate that level, and which that is such a positive of homeschooling, and maybe that's why we're thinking this way.
That's true. I know we have that viewpoint.
Is that if we see our kids are advanced at something, or if we see they're not being challenged by what the curriculum says that they should be learning right now, we're not just going to teach that same thing to them for the next 3 months and watch them just be ungodly bored. We're going to say, okay, you've obviously mastered this. Let's move on and just go on and learn something else. And also, if they really struggle with something, it's not like you only have 3 days to learn this certain skill and then we're moving on. And if you're one of the kids that can't learn it in 3 days, then you're just screwed. Yeah. And you missed like a foundational part of whatever you were trying to learn. And the rest is just totally Greek because you never learned that base foundation.
Or you have to take home extra work and do extra work in your free time that you should be spending playing to figure this out or learn it at home anyways.
Right. And a lot of kids just don't learn well in school. Like that's just not their learning environment. I certainly was one. I hated school, hated it.
And I love school. So it's funny because we don't dislike the school system at all. That's, like I loved school. I loved it. Loved anything academic all through high school, college, loved it so much. And he hated it.
I hated
the academia part.
I hated the academia part. I loved seeing my friends.
Yeah.
And I loved playing sports and all that was great. But but what I was going to say is our experiences with school, like was not any reason why we chose to homeschool. We'll get to that too, but we don't have anything against the school system at all. If our kids want to go there one day, we're totally fine to send them. It's up to them as they get older. I would be hard pressed to hear any teacher say, if you asked a public school teacher, would you rather teach a classroom of 30 or 2? I think they would all answer 2. Or the question could be, do you think you could more effectively teach a classroom of 30 or a classroom of 2? And I think 100% of them would say I would be more effective in a classroom of 2 kids.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing. That's what homeschool is essentially. Now, you're not a certified teacher.
No.
So there's that, of course. But
I have a college degree though.
Yes. And you're doing a great job, and it shows clearly in our kids. Like, they're both academically, they're doing a great job, and I think you're doing a great job as well. And you're also an extremely hard worker. So you're always just like, you're figuring it out. Yeah. Especially in these early years, there's a lot more wiggle room. I think when the kids get older, and even when our kids get older, and even if they continue to homeschool into middle school and high school, we've already kind of decided, like, we probably aren't going to be the ones teaching that. Most of that's
certain things,
right?
For
certain
sure.
things. Most of it's going to be, it's still homeschool, but the curriculums are just really good, and the online learning is just going to be really good.
Well, and then the goal by the time they're in middle school, high school, the goal is for them to essentially not need me much. Right? Mm-hmm. Because at that point, they've had years of self-learning and self-teaching, and I'm their guide. Mm-hmm. Now, in these early years, yes, I am pretty much, I am teaching. I am teaching them everything. Now, Jovi, she didn't know how to read. Now she knows how to read. And now that she can read, once you can read and write fluently and quickly, you can learn anything. Mm-hmm. Anything. You don't really necessarily need someone to teach it to you. You can learn it. If you have, if you have the drive to want to learn it, you will learn it. And the goal is to teach our children to want to learn and to have that drive. So by the time they get there, I'm just guiding them. By the time they're in high school, I'm their guide. Now, I probably will kind of push for them to take courses at the high school, because one thing with me that I loved so much, I had several great teachers that brought this out of me. There is something to be said about a passionate teacher mm-hmm. that just loves the subject they teach. Like mm-hmm. one I can think of in my high school is Mr. Hale. He taught chemistry, and you could feel his love for chemistry when he was teaching it. And it was inspiring. And I loved chemistry class. And I also just loved the way he taught. He was very old school. He had a binder, and he flipped through that binder and he wrote on the board, and we did experiments, and I loved it. And when a teacher has that passion, they are putting that onto their students. And I want our kids to be able to learn from other people that mm-hmm. hopefully have that spark and passion. I hope that hasn't been lost in, I know school's different than how it was when I was a kid, but I hope that's still there. I had that Mr. Hill was one that really stuck out, and I had a college professor that was the same. And then when I think to my elementary years, Miss Coppage, you've met her, Martha. She was such an inspiring teacher. She's still a teacher today, even though she's retired. She's to her grandchildren. You can see it. I see it in her pictures from her kids. Like, she's still teaching because she's passionate.
She can't help it.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. And I loved her classroom so much because she was so fun and passionate. And that passion did come into me. And the way she taught, she made it so much fun. It was always fun. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with our kids, is make it fun, give them that want to learn, not mm-hmm. just the you have to learn, but look at all the possibilities when you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, something great about homeschool with the age division is, and that's something I was going to say, about you said it had maybe like a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old couldn't play. Well, one thing I've learned from the homeschool community is all of these families in our homeschool group gets together. Well, there's 4-year-olds and 8-year-olds playing together, just like our kids are different ages and they play together.
Well, I didn't mean they couldn't play together. Yeah. I just meant the 10-year-old may just be the king of the 6-year-olds.
Yeah, I guess.
That's all I meant by that. Yeah, they could play. However, you are right. And seeing the homeschool families, it's interesting because, like Margot in 5th grade, and I know public school, it was for me like this. If you're a 10th grader, the 8th graders are just little kids to you, and the seniors are just huge kids. Like mm-hmm. There's such a division just because of the year of school that you're in. Homeschool kids just aren't that. They don't
see that.
They don't see it as divided as I saw it growing up, where you'll see teenagers, they can just get down and talk with a 4-year-old like an adult can, mm-hmm. like a seasoned parent can get down and speak to a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
A teenager just doesn't have to think twice because they've just seen their parents doing that, their mm-hmm. entire lives. So that's kind of interesting. Like that's not something that was common.
Well, yeah, I think about my experience in school. I'm speaking like even like in elementary school, I can barely tell you the names of kids that were below me in school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sat right beside them in the gym and I didn't know them.
Mm-hmm.
I never played with anyone outside my grade level very often
Right.
in elementary school. It was only my grade level. And in middle school, now that's when it kind of gets a little bit different because of sports. So I made friends through sports. So I hung out with some older kids, but I never really hung out with anyone. I never knew the kids below me. And maybe that was a me thing. Maybe, you know, I always kind of gravitated towards older kids, but that's because I was also the oldest in my class. I graduated high school at 19. So I was already older. So I guess that's probably why I gravitated towards some older kids, maybe. Yeah, like it's interesting because I feel like you do see that division in the schools of the age. You don't see them play and mingle. Whereas when you get the homeschool community, you very much can see the mingling happening between ages.
Is it just having a common denominator? Because I had never really thought about it. All the younger kids and older kids that I knew that outside of my classroom, now I'm from a very small place. My class was like 28 kids and we were the biggest class in our school. Our school was kindergarten through 12th grade all in one building, not like we're in one room. We had like 200 kids maybe from kindergarten to 12th grade.
There was 200 kids in just my class.
Right. So, yeah, obviously I knew all the kids in my class. I was familiar with all of the kids in my class. But years above me and below me, I only knew the kids that I shared a common interest with, which was sports. So I only was friends with a couple younger kids because they were on our sports team. And the few older kids that I was friends with, they were on my sports team. And I wonder if it's because homeschool is kind of its own
common denominator.
It's its own common denominator because when you have a homeschool group meetup, like lots of homeschool communities have, they have a big community. They get together sometimes more often than once a week. And when you get together, you don't show up and say 16-year-olds over here, 14-year-olds over here, 12-year-olds over here. Everyone just comes in. Yeah. Everyone brings food. You all eat. You all play. You all do an activity that everyone's doing at the same time. At different levels, of course, but everyone's sharing that same interest.
Maybe so.
So I think maybe that doesn't draw that wall of I'm older than you, so I'm not going to associate myself with you. Yeah. And the little 4-year-old doesn't look up to a 16-year-old like you're insanely big. You know, they're just like, hey.
Yeah. Well, I think in like high school and stuff, I think that the gap does get a little bit smaller, like because you do have more opportunities for that. I agree. The common denominator, like, because I hung out with kids that were in Chem Lab with me. I hung out with the people who I played basketball with, people in this club, that club. So then I think you can mingle by that point. But there's no clubs and stuff like that in elementary school. There's no real way to have that at these young ages. So it's like that doesn't even happen until half your...
In our personal experience.
Well, yeah, in my experience as a kid, as in your experience, and as the experience of what we've seen from Margot.
But Margot's went to a pretty small school, right?
Kind of, I guess, but
all the club stuff, well, there's club stuff, right? But it's through like Bismarck Public School.
Yeah, it's by grade. The sports she did were by grade. So it's like there's still not really that true opportunity, I feel like, where they have that common denominator until middle school, high school. So it's like there's really nothing until then. But let's move on. So speaking of sports, let's go talk about sports. So how do you feel about sports being divided by age versus skill level?
I don't know. I think it should probably always be divided by skill level. I think age is just really super irrelevant. If a 7th grader is real good at basketball and he's able to hang with the varsity kids, then the only reason for him not to go play varsity is maybe there's a substantial size difference that the 7th grader gets hurt by some of the bigger kids. But,
well, I think safety is a big part of it. Like first, like, you know, in the sense of like their bone density is different as you're younger and you're getting older. And just like the capacity of building the endurance over time, I think plays a factor. I feel like it's a fine line. I think there's cases where it should be moved up, like in certain sports.
If the game was a non-contact sport, like if it was tennis, for example, then yes.
See, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of how I see it. I think the age division is pretty good for sports because of body growth. But I think when it comes to a non-contact sport like tennis, I don't think it matters. I think skill level.
Yeah, I think it should be all skill. It should be you did X, then you fit into X group and you play with the other kids that also were able to do what you just did. That's what keeps it level. But
contact sports are different.
Contact sports are, I don't know, are they?
I do. I think they are. I think safety and body development and endurance development and just like health and that factor is why that's so important in that level.
Maybe.
But like running or biking, I think those individual non-contact sports, I think it's different because I mean, Jovi and Margot are 4 years apart and they're kind of right there together on their skill level in both biking and running. It's all dependent on skill level, I think, in some of those. Think about like bike racing. I race against teenagers that are the same skill level as me, you know, like because that race is it's by skill level. It's by distance, not by age. Now you still like can win your age division and all that, but I don't think it should be totally separated. I'm going to move into swimming. Okay. So if someone is just a phenomenal swimmer, right? They shouldn't just be ripping apart like the kids the same age as them if they're as good as kids 2 ages above, or do we just let them, now I don't know.
You know what?
Now do you just let them dominate their age group though?
Yeah, I think you do. I think there should be.
Now I'm changing my whole mind.
I think individual sports like cycling, for example, I think they've kind of got it right when it comes down to this. You can be competing for the overall and you can also be competing for your age group.
Yeah.
So it's not like, some kid that's a 10-year-old is just so good and all the other 10-year-olds, no matter how good they are, they just never get to see first place because you're never going to beat this. You're never going to beat this kid.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You know what? Just as speaking, I think when it comes to sports, I think the age division is there. I like it. there. And if someone's just great for their age,
good for them.
Let them dominate.
Let them
right?
win. Let them get some wins.
Let them do it.
But also, they should be able to.
I think if they want to move up, they should be able to. Right.
They should have the opportunity to go for some higher and then get beat and be able to learn because you learn a lot faster from losing and failing.
Yeah, I like that. I think if they choose to want to move up, I think they should have the opportunity to. But I think if they just want to be the best in their age group, let them be the best in their age group. Carry the team if they need to. You know.
Yeah, because wrestling isn't age-based.
Is it not?
No.
It's weight-based?
It's all weight classes.
Interesting.
But you're wrestling somebody identical in weight to you. It may not be body type.
Okay.
You know, but it's just weight. It could be.
I like that. I think that's better than just age, like just throwing age on it, right? That still kind of does go in a little bit with skill level.
How can that apply somewhere else? But I guess like the races, they do that. Like the triathlon's got the Clydesdales division, which is like the men over 220 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have a different race because in order to be 220 pounds and to beat 150-pound athlete, you just won't because that's just not physics.
Yeah.
You know, the physics of it all, you just can't in a running, biking, swimming race like that. So I guess they have those other divisions to kind of give them an opportunity to hold a first place prize, which I think is great.
Yeah. Well, and then so I guess I don't know how that could ever apply to contact or team sports, right? Because
it just may not. It just may not apply.
And then in that case, in those kind of sports, I think it just should be by sport. It should be different by each thing should have their own different rules, not like one size fits all, which maybe it is. Maybe it is kind of like that. And I guess it kind of is.
Maybe it's just at the discretion of the parents of the kids. I know my parents didn't let me play football because I was so little.
Yeah.
I was 4'9" in 7th grade, 4'9", 75 pounds, 7th grade. That is so small. So small. And
you're still small.
We just measured ourselves today. I'm one whole half-inch taller than you.
Yeah,
You're a baby compared to me.
I'm just joking with you.
No, I grew to be a respectable
5'10".
5'10". Which is, that's an average size guy.
You are so average, honey.
That's the only place.
Also true. I'm putting that in. Good laugh there. Okay.
I mean, my parents never let me play football all the way up until senior year. And by the time I was a senior, I was essentially the same size I am now, but skinnier, of course. I was probably 140 pounds and they didn't allow me to play football all the way until I was a senior. And then finally I was like, can I please? And they ended up letting me and I didn't get hurt.
Nice.
But nonetheless, I feel like it should be the discretion of the parents for the safety of the kid.
Well, and then I was going to say, it kind of is like that. Like it is age division up until high school, right? Because then it's like freshman, junior varsity, varsity, and you could play on all three. If your skill, I mean, that's how it was for me. Like if your skill level is good enough by the time you're a freshman, like, well, you could be starting varsity. So it is kind of a little bit by skill level by that, like high school all kind of comes together.
Yeah.
So when it comes to academics, I do think skill level should apply pretty heavily in that. And that's probably because we homeschool and we feel that way. Sports, yeah, I like the opportunity, but also dominate your age if you can. But I think what I was kind of getting at is I'm thinking of this one sign, okay, in the Y where we swim that has the regulations of the pool rules, right? So it's 0 to 5, you must be in the pool with your child. 6 to 7, you have to be on the pool deck, but you don't have to be in the pool. And then 8 and up, you just have to be in the building, okay? So here's my thing. Our youngest daughter is 5. Last year, when she was still 4, earlier this year, when she was still 4, I took her to the pool. It was right around the time of my miscarriage, so I couldn't swim. And I wanted them to go swim because we swam every week. And I was like, you know what? She's fine. She can swim. She doesn't need a life jacket. She could touch in the entire pool. She can swim without a life jacket underwater very well. And she got denied to swim because of her age. And it only, I think, bothered me because there were other kids that were clearly also not within that age range and wearing life jackets and their parents not in the pool. I think that 100% pool rules should not be on age. It should be on skill. Because an 8-year-old who doesn't know how to swim can go in there and swim without a parent, even in the area if they can't swim. But a 5-year-old who can swim well can't swim without your parent in the pool. I think that's wild.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I think especially if you have to have a life jacket in the pool, your parent should be in the pool with you.
For sure.
If you cannot swim without a life jacket, you shouldn't be able to just swim without your parent. But I don't know. It's kind of hard.
No, I think you're just right. I think swimming in a pool, in a public pool where they have rules and guidelines, it should just be on skill level. If your kid can't swim, you're in the pool with them.
Yeah, like why would
if your kid can swim, you don't have to be in the pool with them, period. But maybe a bottom age to say, don't leave us alone with your great swimming 3-year-old. Sure, maybe your 3-year-old can swim, but they can also run out the door because they're 3.
Well, I just think that 0 to 5 is a big gap. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Like, honestly, I think 3 and under, you should have to be in the pool with them. But like, once you're at 4, I think it's at the, like, how well of a swimmer are there? Gemma's a great swimmer at 4. Jovi was a great swimmer at 4. Our kids can swim really good. But there's other kids who are 6 and still in there with life jackets. I also don't think they should be in there without their parent either. I don't think it would take long for the lifeguard to say, can you do this? And if you can, okay, your parent can sit here and watch you rather than be in there with you. Because I mean, I want to be in the pool with them, of course. You know, I just couldn't at that time. And it was a bummer that was the one time. And the thing that was crazy was she only stopped us because she was like, I know you're here all the time. And I'm like, okay, so shouldn't we be good? Like, you know, and honestly, I know that I was breaking the guideline. I knew that at that day. Now we still got to swim. Chris came and
I believe I ended my workout to come because you were carrying out.
No, I was having a hard time. I was in the middle of a miscarriage,
I know.
And I just wanted to take the kids to swim.
I know you were very upset when you called, and I was like, okay, on my way.
Because I had a crying 4-year-old crying, and her 2 sisters were sitting there swimming,
having the time of their life.
Yeah, so it was tough, and before anyone says you were in the middle of a miscarriage and he's at home working out and you're at the pool, I just wanted to get out of the house and have some normalcy in my life. And I was just going to sit there. So it was okay.
Also, it's kind of a long deal, guys.
Yeah.
You can't just put your life on pause. You got to try to continue to.
And the kids didn't know.
And I was struggling as well.
Yeah, it was.
These people haven't even judged us yet, dear.
I know.
You're already saying, hold on, save your comments. No one's even said anything.
I know, but you know, like when I heard it, I was like, you were at home working out, and then I'm here with the kids going through this. Like, you know, I could hear someone like rolling their eyes at that, and we'll talk about the miscarriage. Like, so that'll be next episode, because we're going to talk about all of that next episode. But the kids didn't know, so I was really trying to just like push through and get through daily life, and we had moments of where I had to just crash out at home, and we had moments where I tried to get out of the house. back to it. Um, I just think that kind of thing should be based on skill, not age, or we should tighten up those guidelines a little bit. I think 0 to 5 is wild. Toddlers, 100%. But 5 and then 6 and 7 can be, and then 8, by 8, you're not even have to be in the pool area. I don't know. So I think, again, it's skill and maturity is where it comes down to in a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing we were going to talk about. How do you feel about menus at restaurants for kids?
Kids' menus at restaurants suck.
They suck, right?
I'm dying on that hill. They suck. Hey, what if my kid doesn't want chicken strips or mac and cheese or a hamburger or a cheeseburger? Do you have anything else?
Or corn dogs?
Because I see on the adult menu, you have 80 different options that I can order. Why can't they just have a child-sized portion of any of these things? You obviously have all the materials to cook them. You have a small plate that you would bring out with the kids' plate. Go ahead and put the salmon on a kid's plate.
A half of a fillet, right?
How hard is that?
A smaller portion of the vegetables. It's always served with fries. Why are we only giving kids the fry option? Now some places have a little bit more options, but majority of restaurants, now we don't eat out too much, but we also really enjoy eating out. Is something that we do like to do together, and we like to go as a family. When the kids were younger, we would order just our food, and we would ask for an extra plate, and we would give them food off of our plate. But they're hungrier now, so that doesn't really work. And they also want their own meals now. They want to eat more, but they still can't eat an adult portion. And quite frankly, I don't want to spend $20 on a kid's meal. Right. But I would spend $10 on a half portion of that meal. Now we will do it if both girls want the same thing on the adult menu, then we will order that one, get an extra plate, and split that into 2. But that rarely happens where they want the same thing when we're going out to eat. Just wouldn't it be great to just have everything is the same? You can still have your chicken strips. You can still have your cheeseburger and your mac and cheese as an option for a meal. But why can't we just have everything else? Like, there is no kids menu. It's here's the menu, and it's by price of the portion. And not even for kids, but for adults, because sometimes we don't want to eat a $20 meal that's literally 2 meals. That, sometimes I want to eat a $10 meal. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking that people would abuse the system and just buy the smaller portions.
Well, like, think about Cracker Barrel. You have a senior portion or a lunch portion for, because older people don't eat big portions. And why would they want to go out?
Cracker Barrel has a senior portion?
Well, I know, you can get the fish, you can get 3 pieces or 2. You can get, you have options. You can get 1 piece and 2 sides, or you could get 2 pieces and 3 sides, or 2 pieces and 2 sides. You have options like that for your portion, right? If I owned a restaurant, guys, what I would do, I would have your typical portion. Let's just do it like this. Yes, it's the same way. If you want to order off the kids menu, I agree. Don't abuse it. You have a small upcharge, right? You got to spend, it won't be $10, it'll be $12. Okay. If you're an adult eating the kids menu. But I think there should be a adult portion, then there should be a senior portion. So if you're 65 and over, you can get the smaller portion, if you want it, and then a kids portion. And you have to be a certain age to get the kids portion, or you can pay an upcharge in order to eat the kids portion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because most places, they won't let you order off the kids menu if you're an adult, right?
Right. But who would want to order that? Who wants Kraft mac and cheese and fries for a dinner meal?
I've heard lots of stories of adults going to McDonald's and just ordering a Happy Meal,
Well, I mean, if I was going to eat McDonald's, I wouldn't want more than a Happy Meal either, but we don't eat McDonald's for multiple reasons. But I wouldn't want a full meal of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe we're missing something, but why don't kids have options?
Well, I think it's a crazy standard. Maybe it's not like this in other countries. It's just we're giving them the least healthiest options, first off. And then not only that, we're not even giving them a chance to explore, It's just kids should eat what we eat. If you're eating it, your kids should eat it, right?
Do restaurants have most of their stuff? Let's say if the kid was going to order chicken Alfredo, okay? So do they already have the noodles in a baggie portioned out, and the chicken in a baggie portioned out, so that here's the noodles, here's the chicken, this is your adult portion?
I don't think so.
You don't think they do it like that?
No, I've worked at restaurants. No, it's not like
They just have a pot of noodles and they just scoop out
by
noodles
weight and stuff, I think.
Because I was going to say, if everything's pre-portioned.
No, it's not. You deliver food. It's not pre-portioned.
I don't deliver. Yeah, I deliver food. Yes, I don't do any of the prep.
Right.
That would be prep.
Yeah, no, it's not pre-portioned. Most places. I think it's by weight.
Well, if it's by weight, I don't see any reason why a kid couldn't order a chicken Alfredo.
And then you give them a child's portion.
Right. Or salmon with asparagus. It's like you just give them half a salmon and half the asparagus and half the mashed potatoes or whatever. And on a small plate, looks like a giant plate to them, and it's healthy.
Yeah, it's healthier. Not healthy. Eating out is typically not healthy, but it's healthier than
deep fried chicken
strips and fries, right? So I guess we should just open a restaurant and then test our theory.
No, thank you.
Well, all right. That's my restaurant theory. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we gave a lot of theories and opinions today on lots of different topics.
Yeah, tell me what you guys think. We were just kind of like, what should we talk about today?
And as we talked through them,
we were like, how do we feel?
I realized how much more unsure I was about each topic.
Right? But it was fun to have the conversation.
It was fun.
All right. Well, that's all we got today.
Okay.
So yeah, if you didn't do it at the beginning, go ahead and do it now. What should they do?
They should leave a review and maybe give us a like.
I don't think you can like podcast episodes.
What about
give us a like?
What about on YouTube?
Oh yeah, I guess you can give us a like on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up.
Go ahead and leave us a review, rate, subscribe. And thank you if you made it to this point for listening. We appreciate you very much.
Yes, thanks so much.
This has been
She Talks,
He Nods. Love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.